Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look at the brand new rules revealed for the Skaven Spearhead found inside the Vermintide launch box set for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 4th edition. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest of the Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. What is Spearhead? Spearhead is a brand new game mode for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. If you're familiar with Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol, you'll have an idea of what to expect. Spearhead uses pre-built forces balanced against one another to play a quick and beginner-friendly game of Age of Sigmar. Spearhead forces are made up of the contents of the Spearhead box sets or Vanguard box sets, which are being rebranded as Spearhead as well in the future. And as with Warhammer 40,000's launch box, you'll also find two Spearheads that use some, not all though, of the models in the launch box. In the future, we may even see alternative Spearheads released inside the White Dwarf magazine like we have with Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Three claw steps ahead is our battle trait for the Skaven. This battle trait is able to be used once during the enemy hero phase, and you're able to pick a friendly Skaven unit that's not in combat and that you can make a move ability as if it were the movement phase. Now we have two regiment abilities, and you can pick one of the following two regiment abilities for your force to have at the beginning of the game. Warpstone Laced Bullets is the first, and this ability can be used once per battle during the shooting phase. You can pick a ranged weapon carried by a friendly unit, and that weapon will gain the Crit Mortal special rules for that phase. The other ability is Too Quick to Hit. This is a passive ability, and this means no mortal damage is inflicted upon your units should they use the Retreat ability. Next, we have our regiment enhancements. You can pick one of the following regiment enhancements to give your general before the game begins. The first is Lead the Seething Horde. This is a reaction you can use when declaring the Call for Reinforcements ability. Instead of using the setup rules for the ability, you can instead set up the replacement unit holding within 13 inch of this model and not in combat. Scry Connections is a passive ability. Your general's Rattling Pistol will have an attacks characteristic now of 2d6 instead of d6. Warpstone Charm is another passive ability enhancement, and this means your enemy units nearby will subtract 1 from their save rolls while they're in combat with your general. Lastly, the Cloak of Stitched Victories. This last enhancement also is a passive ability and grants your general a 5+ ward save. Leading the Spearhead is the Clawlord on Norbeast. This warrior has a middling, though albeit high save for Skaven of 4+ and 7 health as well. In combat, its attacks with its Warpforged Halberd can deal some solid damage, and as Norbeast mounts Chiseled Fangs as well deal solid damage, though these attacks from the mount have the Companion special rule, which means they cannot be affected by abilities used by a friendly model that affects its attack characteristic or the attack sequence. Its Cornered Rat special rule is a passive ability, which means when the model is damaged, it just adds 3 to the attacks of its Warpforged Halberd. Lastly, the model also has a 6+ ward save to help shrug off some damage. Joining the Clawlord is a mighty Greyseer, a true disciple of the Great Horned Rat. Not much to speak of for combat ability or defense, this model is all about providing support to your force, with its two abilities that can be used in the hero phase. The first is the Will of the Horned Rat, which will allow you to add d6 to a friendly unit's objective control, and the second Wither, which can potentially deal some mortal damage to your enemies. Our first unit are Clan Rats. These are a multitudinous horde of rats pushed into the thick of the fighting by your warlords and Greyseers. Once again, not much to write home about in terms of combat output, but they do make up for lack of quality attacks with the quantity of them. The Seething Swarm rule they have can be used at the end of any turn to return D3 slain models to the battlefield in the unit, and the Reinforcements keyword allows you to pick the unit when it's destroyed and during your movement phase to set up an identical unit on the battlefield edge. Lastly, we have a unit of Rat Ogres. These models have 4 health each and a 5+ save. All of the models in the unit are armed with claws, blades and fangs, which can put out some very good damage, and one model in the 3 is armed with a warp fire gun as well to give you some short range shooting. That is even allowed to shoot at your enemies while in combat, thanks to the shooting combat special rule. During any combat phase once per battle, this unit can choose to inflict D3 mortal damage on itself to add 1 to the attacks characteristic of its melee weapons during the phase as well. We hope this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead, and that it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe and join our Discord server to check out all of our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar content.